Hello, this is the first AWC podcast with myself, Alex, and Gareth, and
Hello.
We're going to speak about general business, starting up a business, problems that you can have from a young age, and general business decisions, I think.
Sounds good.
So we're going to give it a go and kickstart it now. Are you going to edit this and bits like that?
That's it.
Oh, it's like full on, okay.
All right, let's
Cool.
go.
I'll let you, what is your story and bits like that from
Okay. Started 6 years ago, which I was, how old are you now?
20?
20, yeah, I think I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
I started an agency, digital agency, not really intending to have a big business. I sort of started it, went alone, left my job. I worked in small businesses before that, so I knew how they run. I knew all the problems that come with it.
Makes sense.
I think, obviously, did you work in any small businesses before?
So I pretty much left school. So I went sixth form,
straight in.
and then just went straight in. To be fair, I've been doing it for like small side, if that makes sense, from say 13, but it wasn't like a business.
No, sure.
But then just went straight in.
Yeah, because I think it was really important for me to have a bit of period, like a 3-year period of working for a smaller business and seeing what the
build so much
happen.
like experience and bits like that from it.
Yeah, and I was doing everything: sales, invoicing, customer service, manufacturing, and anyway, to cut a long story short, ended up setting up an agency, marketing, mainly digital marketing, and then from there, got a first employee, second employee, started growing. Obviously comes with challenges, but I was pretty young at the time.
Sure.
So I wasn't really phased. I wasn't too I was never too hungry for the money.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was
makes
just
sense.
It just sort of happened. You know how it just happens.
Yeah.
You don't really get obsessed about it.
Exactly, and then it clicks at a point where it's it gets a bit more serious, I find.
Yeah, it became more of a business.
Yeah.
And I knew I had some weird DNA that I could do it. But anyway, I got a few employees, and then fast forward 6 years today. We've got about 22 staff. I've got a few businesses, but mainly people know me from my agency. Obviously in Southend. And
Sick.
yeah, it's cool. Obviously having employees.
Yeah, exactly.
Can suck.
yeah, definitely.
As
And do
you-
you think
as
you'll so you're in Southend at the moment? Do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you'll ever move? Does it really
Well,
need to
yeah,
move
that's-
location if it's online?
Yeah, that's
or-
the thing is we're at a point where we need to either move out of Southend or upgrade our office, which there's one above us at the minute. So yeah, we struggle to attract the talent in Southend, which is always our problem.
Exactly.
Probably for you as well.
That's the thing. We're so far out here.
Yeah, it sucks.
That a location for one staff. Luckily, we've been pretty good. But even one of our staff members is like Tilbury area.
Yeah,
Which is still like, especially with the traffic, it's about an hour away.
commute.
So it is that
I
kind
have
of commute.
people
Which
coming
is,
from like Harlow and all sorts of areas, and
then you get that like traffic, and then
then it
it's a
starts
tough
to
one
become not of a proposition for them.
100%. Which is a tough one.
So I guess that's sort of where I'm at. But I'm 27 now, so 6 years down the line, I think you're definitely at a good point now.
Yeah.
You've grown it quick.
That's the thing.
But also at the same time, because you've not been in a fast-paced business before.
It's like,
I think it's going to come.
Yeah,
You've got to be careful of it.
I think that's the thing, because I think the last 7 years have been, let's call it the last few years, bar maybe the end of this year, they've been quite, not relaxed, but a bit more chilled out, a bit more kind of, we'll take that job here and there, that's that kind of thing. This year it's been different, like it's more kind of business point of view, with some business coaching and bits like that. But I think how like things happen, you put all the work in, and it starts to kind of pay back. So I'm hoping that 2020 is the AWC year to take over the world.
Yeah, but you're not. If someone else was to look at your business, they'd be like, "Oh shit, he's done well." That's the thing.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like, how long can that go on for, and what other things can you do to really? At the moment, I basically market my age as the USP.
Okay,
so a lot of people kind of. It used to be a massive problem, so people would drop their I remember like a Tesla and some other cars, and they'd be like, when I was 16 on the driveway, they'd be like, is your dad going to move these? I'd be like, yeah, that's so. And I was always trying to get that
that
super kind of professional image, and it used to be a bit of a pain. So I used to put in my emails that I was young, and when you turn up, like not to expect like an older chap, if that makes sense. So
did that put people off? Did you find?
Yeah,
Or did you think it put people off?
I think it made me feel like they were put off, because my first experience doing a mobile valet when I started Chapo's valeting. So I think I was 14.
Oh, nice.
And I'm 20 now. I don't exactly look
No.
too old. So when I was 13, I probably looked about 7.
I like that.
I think it was when I was 14, I went to, it was actually funny enough, around the back of this unit.
Okay.
And my dad took me, and the bloke basically just turned us down at the door. He said, "Oh, like it's so funny you brought your son with you for like work experience." And I was kind of laughing, like, "Oh no, it's my dad was going, oh, it's me that was doing the job." And then
he was like, no.
yeah, turned away. He said no, like, and it was just like a Citroen DS3 or whatever it was.
Oh right, don't worry about it.
But yeah, it just shows that that's probably what caused a bit of like, oh, we old enough, that kind of thing at the time.
Yeah.
No, it was a bit more of a hobby.
I feel you. I sort of had a similar thing in mind when I was working for this small business, and like I was well out of my depth, and like I think I was 17 or 18, and like I shouldn't be in the meetings that I was in, and it was just like I was blagging everything.
Yeah, you don't really.
And then you don't really, and then ended up when a set brought like up, but then I ended up in a couple of meetings I shouldn't have been in. But luckily, digital marketing is quite a young game.
Yeah.
So it helped being young, but I think with yours, you're still gonna definitely have that as a.
That's the thing. So it's like, even the good thing is now that is the stories out there, that it's like with different newspapers and like that video we were talking about earlier, YouTube, is that a lot of people these days actually see, because of it's not really that, what's the word, like young entrepreneur and bits like that, it's not that common.
No.
Even though it
They'll
should
be
be,
inspired.
people get inspired and they want to drop their cars down. So it's quite a cool like marketing point from our point of view. So I'll ride the wave until I look a bit older. But
yeah, it's all about the positioning of it. Like, how do you position it at the minute? Is it young business?
So like when we actually sell, so if someone completely didn't know us, I wouldn't go in with the young.
Okay.
Because otherwise I feel like if you went straight in with the young, it's almost like giving you that, they're a bit like, oh, I'm not sure if it's the best thing. Should I go with someone with a bit more experience? Even though, to be fair, I say that we've still tend to be some more experience than even the older chaps. I was
going to say, but also more experience doesn't always mean better.
100%.
You know that.
That's the key. Like with research and knowledge and those kind of things and different equipment, you can often overtake experience with.
Definitely, yeah. I've noticed that. Like, different experience is also like a bit dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So were you in marketing before you went into?
A little bit. I was mainly sales. I was always good at sales. I think you're probably quite good at sales. No one really builds a business, especially a service-based business.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Without being good at sales. So I'd say as you grow, definitely salespeople are probably going to be your most important asset. Because anyone can, like, obviously not anyone can do a good car, but like anyone can. There's only so much
you can train. Like, I feel like sales is a skill that, don't get me wrong, like I wouldn't say I'm great at sales.
No, sure.
You build. I wouldn't say I'm good at sales, but you build it over time. What's best, like especially like when a customer comes in, not trying to sell them like all this kind of like crap, if that makes sense. Try and just price them up the right thing, and don't try and oversell and don't undersell at the same time. And I think you get that kind of perception, should we say, from the client. You kind of read them and bits like that. I think that's quite a skill that does take experience to build up. But overall, a sales team would be pretty powerful.
Yeah, and then obviously once you're delivering good work at the minute, and then the referrals will build from there.
Yep.
Are you finding that? Or?
Yeah, so I think at the moment we've concentrated this year on being as efficient as possible with the production of the kind of detailing and the paint protection film. So for example, even small stuff like making sure everything's ready for the day, getting things out ready for when staff come in and bits like that.
Sure.
And it might take me 10 minutes because I'm fast and bits like that, but it could reduce the time at the end of the day by like an hour or something like that, which is quite cool. So I think efficiency is really key with basically what we do, and it's just making sure that we've got that solid service, and then basically building on getting referrals and bits like that. So we're trying to put some referral strategies.
Is that working, or
basically just about to go live at the moment?
Okay.
So some aftercare boxes and bits that push referrals, so that you get not prizes, but gifts and bits like that, and just kind of testing and measuring that so that it actually works. And it's not just like do it and then forget about it kind of thing.
So the next thing.
Yeah.
What would you say the most challenging thing is at the minute? Is it too much opportunity, or
it's
to get in?
Sometimes, I know it sounds stupid, but like not getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure you've been in that mindset where you just want to get everything done and you just want to do this, that and that. You want to do everything. You want to get all the clients, and you just think all your work over the years should start, and it just takes ages. Like,
it's patience,
and it just gets that time where it does just start to work, and it's starting to get to that point now. But I think, the biggest kind of issue at the moment is just kind of getting out of that mindset that one thing a day can make you better over the year, if that makes sense.
Compound.
Instead of putting 10 things to do on a to-do list and trying to get them all done while doing other things, because it often puts too much pressure on you.
What I found that actually doing work is bad. That sounds really bad.
Yeah.
But like, I find if I'm doing work, like actual physical work, that someone else can do better.
Yep.
Then
it's completely.
And once you're in that mindset, you need to start.
Yep.
You have to do some things you don't want to do, but
yeah.
Eventually you just keep moving. If you spend 80% of your time in sales, probably at the minute, 20% ops.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think at the moment, because we're trying to create a system for the operations, I used to spend 100% of the time in the operations.
Really?
But
wow, okay.
It's trying to kind of pull out of that, and I'd say at the moment it's down to 40%, 30%, which is good.
Yeah, that's
and then
decent.
the rest in the kind of sales marketing box. But it's often that point that I've learned this year that you can often use your power and skills and knowledge over the years to do something that will pay kind of well. So in that sales box or something else, and you can kind of pay someone else who's experienced in, say, marketing, and let them
100%, man.
and you'll
100%.
often get better results instead of spending
12
12 hours a day trying to do something that
you
could put loads of money into, like a Facebook ad, and not really know what you're doing.
100%.
And it will just go downhill. So I think that's
a bit of common sense. You've got you know what to do, but like sometimes catching yourself and not doing it, going down a rabbit hole.
Exactly that. And you can just spend too much time doing the wrong stuff when it could be a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
So what's your culture going to be at AWC?
So I mean, at the moment we're trying to create this like cool workplace and bits like that.
Okay.
With all these things there.
What does cool mean?
So for me, it'd be nice to have like this upstairs area in like a bit of a chill out area, so that when I try to keep away from like, there's a break at 10:15 to 10:30, that kind of thing, and just kind of make sure you're doing the work. But if you need that break,
especially with what you're doing,
it can be so like labour intensive. But I think if we increase the efficiency and actually make sure the jobs get done, which they are starting to become, that if that makes sense with systems and all those kind of things, then we will have that extra time in the day, not to mess around or anything like that, but
no, of course,
to be able to take that kind of back step. And that's really important because you often forget, once you get into that sales box or upstairs and you're updating customers and bits like that, you forget how hard or how long and labour intensive some of the detailing can be. So I think culture wise, we just want to make it as enjoyable as possible.
Enjoyable's good. And I think culture's a funny one, and we've been working on it for a long time. It's like culture's not just like cool beanbags and slides and shit. Yeah. Like, it's about what the staff go home and like worry about.
Yeah, exactly that.
And like your mission, that's something that we're working on. Even 6 years down the line, we're so off of where we should be in terms of what the business should be.
I think that's the thing. Like we set out a vision, mission, culture, that kind of stuff. After doing some business coaching, probably January this year.
Okay.
And I was told, it was like, you'll always try and get this vision and mission culture that's perfect, and you want it like word for word, this, that, and that. And then sometimes it just kind of puts the side, and you forget about it.
Yeah.
And it's really important to adapt it every year, but
I think just putting it like on the wall, like what are your values? Like, are you honest?
Exactly. Different things that are like you would look at and sometimes think that's a bit odd to have on the wall, but I think every time you walk past something, you do kind of anticipate it, which is quite cool.
But what's like I definitely have your mission, values, and making sure your staff know that you're not just like they're there just to work
exactly
for you.
That. I think that's the most important thing. It's starting to get that way at the moment. Basically trying to make sure that like it's not just, for example, like the business owner, that classic like business owner using someone to make money, which is completely like offset, and it is not what it is.
Well, no, not technically. Well, technically it is.
Technically it is.
Unfortunately, but
in the real world, it doesn't often come down to that.
No, 100%. No, and also you want to build a culture where you, as you said, like your friends will know if you're a dick.
Yes. Exactly.
Word will spread if you're a dick.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
So that's, I think, like we've heard different stories about different people, and you wonder, you're like, how did that even come from that person they don't even know, and that kind of thing. So
I know it's
often important to try and get a steady head at that kind of thing. But what's your next plans then and bits like that?
Next plans. That's a good question. I never know myself.
Yeah,
I bought a business in February, like a retailing business online.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of infrastructure to be done there, and hiring, firing, usual.
Yeah.
But mainly infrastructure. And
yes,
I sold a business where was it now? In the summer. So just taking a bit of time out.
Makes sense.
And just trying to understand where I'm going next.
Yeah.
And like I've been pretty unstressed the last few months, which is good. Yeah. I like nothing's too stressful now. Like I guess the things that stress me out really aren't that stressful.
Yeah,
because
sense.
I've built a bit of
management. Like solid. Yeah, like
management that can like stop the problems, the day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found as soon as you stop the day to day problems, you have
the other problems.
Like one thing probably. You'll probably get this. You'll walk in, you see someone do something wrong, and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
And then like that's your day, like
literally
knocked out.
And then when you think about it, you're like, this, that, and that. Like I won't use the example, but I saw something. It was months ago, and then I was like, "Fuck!" Like, why are they doing this, that, and that? And then I went down, and I was like, "Fuck!" I've just done the exact same thing as what I was moaning about. So. It's often that kind of like, as a business owner, you want everything to be 100% perfect and running this and that, but then it's like with everything, you get used to it, and then you want to get better anyway. So I think those kind of daily problems, I know it sounds weird, but sometimes help with pushing the business forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're also finding out like really what your customers like. Yeah, they might have been happy with but finding out more about them.
Yeah,
and understanding where you could have been better, because once you've done the car and they go, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Like, are they?
Exactly. That's the thing. And it's like, it's getting that feedback is really important. So we tend to try and keep on top of a client.
It.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a CRM or anything like a?
No. So at the moment, moment we do, it's basically a basic like spreadsheet that's given different months and stuff to contact the different customers. Okay. We've just literally had a meeting with a bloke called Alan from Vision Reach, which is a system-based company that basically they pop in, they see what you're doing, and basically turn it into a system and solution and bits like that. So that should be really cool. But things like that could be a game changer.
But yeah, the question is do you get people to come? Do people come back? Like, what's your hit rate?
So at the moment, let's say if you had your car done today, like that, the Cooper and bits like that, we keep in contact with the customer every 3 months and bits like that, and a week after they have it done, and try and just, if they need any tips and tricks, trying to making sure there's emails and bits like that there. But when we actually sell is every 6 months. So we'll sell them a valet in 6 months' time. We'll then sell them like a 1-year top-up in 12 months.
And do they come back for that?
They tend to, yeah. Okay, but the thing is, often because the client base it used to be like that in Southend, but now it's kind of
bigger,
blown up in London, Oxford, Kent, that kind of thing. It's quite important to get that kind of, we've just bought a van, so we're going to get that set up, and we can then do 6-month and 12-month maintenance at the client's house.
At the client, that would be good.
Which will be really helpful, especially for some of the guys guys and girls who work in London. They like drop their car off here, and then they get the train back, and it's like this, that, and that. It can often be a nightmare. But saying that, some customers have said like a lot of people take the day off and then they bring the car down. It's a bit different. Like it's almost on that kind of personal culture. They want to kind of see how things are going and bits like that. And every client we deal with tends to be easy to deal with and nice to deal with, because they've seen the backstory and they trust us. And I think that trust kind of is really important to gain even before they've dropped the car off.
Yeah, it's their pride and joy, isn't it?
Definitely, which is super important. But yeah, I think on that note, I think that's one of the most important things here. Building that kind of customer relation before they drop the car off, so that you don't have that. Thanks for the car keys, and then they look like they're all fine, like we do with everything. I think I've dropped cars off to like a dealership, and you get a service. And because it's a big dealer, really they don't really care. It's just another car. Yeah. And you kind of walk away and you give them, cheers, this, that, and that. But you're really kind of thinking, you're a bit uncertain. So
sure, but you get more feedback here.
Yeah, definitely.
More so personal service. But how are you going to keep that with scale?
That's the thing. So I think there's only. I always used to say, there's only one of me. You can only do this and that. But with development of staff and bits like that, staff's so key, and we've got really lucky recently with obviously both the staff are great and bits like that. Jack's obviously going to take more of an operations manager role because he's more local, nice, and a bit older and bits like that, so that's going to really help kind of push the business, and it's made me also be able to switch off a bit, which is, like you said, really important for
super important,
weekends and bits like that. So
okay, cool. Well, what about that Porsche over there? Is that yours, isn't it?
It is indeed. The Porsche, as we were saying earlier, the Porsche is cool. It was...
Talk me through the thought process.
The thought process behind that. I don't like doing this because it's like, no, you think it's a bad decision. But the Porsche was not about the car, if that makes sense. It was a goal that I set. Fine. And it was basically, I said it 7.5 months before the purchase of it, and basically said that, like, on my 20th birthday, just go for something and use that as an experience, and kind of, it's made me create new clients and bits like that, which is also cool.
Of course,
for like Porsche groups and all those kind of things. But generally, the process was smash out 6-7 months of work.
I don't think it's a bad purchase. I'm just interested in it,
and basically just fancy something that was a bit more special than, so I had a Focus RS before, which was sick, but that was more of a daily car, and then I bought that, and it was, everyone was like, oh mate, it's a convertible, like in the winter it's going to be a bit cold and all this. And
did you not think about it?
I did, when you're in that like mood, and you're like, yeah mate, don't worry, that'll be fun.
Are they actually colder then? I didn't even know that.
It's just a bit more cramped inside, but it's that kind of like, I'm not going to moan about it, if that makes sense. So, but no, it is cool. Whether or not it was, I think it was the right decision from a personal point of view. I definitely wanted to tick that box, and this.
Did you feel like you did it for yourself?
Yeah,
like 100% yourself.
80%. Okay. Like when I was collecting it, it didn't feel like, with any of these things. Often, if you had a really good backing, like you had a house and you had this, that, and that, and some different savings and all this, then it's the right kind of move. I don't think at any point. At the moment, any purchase that I made would be the right move, if 100%. But it was a good 75% purchase. Probably could have used some bits for the business, and it will go soon, to be fair. But it's a goal to be ticked off, and then
no, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just interesting, obviously, your mindset around it.
It's like you said, from a business point of view, if I sat down and thought, like, why don't you use some of the, say, like the money from that into the business, inject it and bits like that, and then start growing that and create 5 times the value of the car, then you can kind of...
I mean, you are in the car industry. It's not like a dickish thing to do, I don't think.
It's just working out what was the best decision. But to be fair, I do like driving in cars and bits like that, so it's another kind of switch off on the business.
No, of course, I think it's cool.
Yeah, just always looking at different cars and bits like that. So I think that's the 7th car.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yes.
Okay. I get it.
Quite a few.
Definitely.
But that was like a ridiculous change from all the other stuff. All the other stuff was like small little jumps. That was like double the other cars. But it's a cool car, and it kind of got the enjoyment that I wanted out of it, if that makes sense, from it. And love it.
So would you say that's like what's your next goal?
This is a tough one, because I always say, like, now do I go for something quite a bit more sensible, and then so I've got the van for like daily, but do I sell that, and then the market's crap at the moment, to be fair. So
what do you mean by crap?
already they were at a decent point and they hadn't lost much money
really?
for 3 years, and then
But now they're just losing.
they're sinking a bit. But it's that time of year, so they tend to probably drop about 10% this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Don't count me for these figures. I'm no car professional, but it's just
well,
what
you know,
I feel like I've seen. But I think I'll get rid of it definitely within 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
I say this, I'll probably watch this back in like a month. I'll be like, oh, new car. But,
another whip.
It probably won't be an upgrade from now. It'll be something a bit more sensible, and then use some money, inject the business.
Yeah, man.
Kind of get it.
I found I get more enjoyment from losing, like, let's say 50 or 100 grand on a project that failed.
Yes.
But then spending 50 or 100 grand on myself.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's
because like I've bought shit before, not much, like, 'cause I'm not that materialistic, but like, I'm not a car. I like cars, but I'm not like, if I owned a car thing like this, definitely I'd be.
Yeah, you kind of. That's the thing.
You're surrounded by it.
Yeah, you're surrounded by it. It's almost
it.
like your only.
Materialistic.
Yeah, it's
materialistic. Obviously, it's not materialistic's a funny word, but like, it's your only sort of.
Yeah, it's almost like you do all the different cars, and then you kind of got to have one yourself to.
Yeah, I think you should.
It's a good like demo as well, which is cool. But like I said, if I was in a different industry and worked
definitely
in London or something, I wouldn't have it. So
no,
it just depends on.
But I think as you scale, you're going to definitely need. It's a proper capital intensive business.
Definitely, that's the thing. Like different. We were talking about like paint protection film and the investments that are required for plotters and bits like that.
That's big.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean,
30 grand.
No, it's not actually as much.
Is it not? Okay.
I mean, it depends. Like you could. How the question is, how good do you want to be at it, and would you look at staff and bits like that? This is not a move we're doing at the moment, but it's just an example of basically the film industry. So
sure,
you'd probably be looking at about 10 grand for a plotter, some training, and a few rolls of film to kind of get cracking.
To get started.
That wouldn't leave you much change, I don't think. But do you want to be? That's the same with us. Like we did loads of cars before, and with detailing, it was a £75 machine polisher. But at the time, when you have say £5 or that, when you're 13, it's a big investment. So
yeah. It's the same again.
It's kind of the same here. With that, as you get bigger, the investments get bigger. And that's what you've kind of got to keep an eye on.
But the problem is I've found the bigger the business, the bigger the appetite, or like the bigger the monster. So like you keep, because your P&L is probably your turnover is going to go like that.
Yes.
But like your net profit's going to go the other way.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like at the moment, like
probably
this year,
you're not going to keep those margins.
No, that's the. Well, you can say that's the annoying thing, but that is just generally business.
That's how it works.
Our net, like, obviously in the future, our net profit should be cool, but at the moment, I'm just not taking any and investing as much as possible.
Yeah, that's
in
good.
the different avenues and areas. If I can take a bit here and there just for living.
Yeah, of course.
That's the main thing. But
well, that's where I see most businesses suffer is they just whip out all the profits and then the business suffers.
That's the thing. So I probably did that. Like I did that from January to June this year. To kind of like afford the different bits, like for example deposits and stuff on the cars and all that kind of thing. But now it would be, because like you said, we've gone like that with the revenue and a bit like that with the profit.
We'll do,
because of the investments. It's not even worth me really taking much profit from it anyway.
No, of course.
So if I can just keep that in it and then keep those investments going, which over time, like we said, it gets to that point in the business where you just grow like that, and you've got to be able to handle that with. As a personal point of view, I think you just got to be able to make sure your head's pretty solid to.
Yeah, man.
Clear to
I think you've got, as you're young, like your risk tolerance is higher than when you get older. I found my risk, I get less, although I'm pretty high risk, but you start to sort of think about other things and like, it's like real life shit.
That's the thing. Like for example, now, like if someone said, invest this amount of money, I probably. As long as it was the right investment,
you'd go for it.
I'd probably go for it. Whereas if I was 4, 5, 6 years older and there was a house and this, that, and that, you're a bit more hesitant.
So that's why it's great that you're at that top. That's why I know you wanted to cover on young entrepreneurship on this podcast specifically. So I think that's, if you're young, like, why not?
Definitely kind of go for it. That's the thing. Like I always find it funny because when I was 13, 14, 15, I'd be messaging all like the detailers and asking what I call now as a stupid question, but at the time it was certainly not a stupid question, and I'd get my head in a twist like, oh, they do that, but I want to make my services this, that, and that. I'll ask them if they do. And we get it now, and it's really, I think it's almost quite important to take a minute out of the business and understand their point of view from like so we had a 13-year-old message us today.
All right, cool.
And they're saying like, oh, how at 13, none of my customers trust me because my age, and everyone laughs. And it's like, oh, that used to be like
same,
at
sure.
13, 14, 15, that kind of age.
Love it.
And you just, it puts you right back in the kind of start of the business feel, if that makes sense. And then just kind of give them the right advice. And
do you think that will... Have you ever heard someone like take your advice and then help? Do you know?
I feel like...
Action? Or do you find sometimes... Because I find sometimes when I give advice, they don't fucking do it.
Yeah, that can be a bit frustrating. And sometimes it's almost like, it'd be cool to make like the AWC detailing school for 13 to 15 years.
Like a course.
Because I feel like,
sick.
At this age, we've gone through that. Don't get me wrong, there's huge companies in the UK. We're nowhere near at that rate, but we are at that rate where we've kind of overcome that 13 to 16 slash 30. Yeah, that really small,
really micro
kind of,
business.
Like, should I spend £10 on this or £10 on that kind of thing? And I feel like we could probably give a really good head start on that and save years and years. But
like an AWC starter kit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally for 13-year-old driveway car detailers.
Wow, I didn't know that niche existed.
Yeah, I think it seems to be more popular. And funny enough, we had a bloke recently who said, which is quite mind-blowing for me, I think he was in Southend, and he said, we were doing some competition, we applied for a bank loan to start a car detailing company. We'd never heard of you, and then we found out about you and decided not to go ahead and cancelled all the bank loan and bits like that. And it was a bit of an odd one. Like, I was like, how do you reply to that kind of message?
Okay.
I was like, thanks. Do you say thanks? And but it'd be interesting, to see what they kind of did now. And I didn't give any advice. But
because that's the thing with this sort of business. It's quite
Yeah.
Like, you need to outlay. Did you borrow any?
Luckily, because it's been that kind of like young, it wasn't say I was starting it now. And if I started it now and I look around, I'm like, shit, we've spent a lot of money on just like all the different bits of equipment and bits like that. So it'd probably be quite a bit now. But over time, it's just literally just been savings. So
so just from the cash flow.
Yeah, basically. So I think the first thing was a £73 pressure washer.
Oh.
And I think my dad actually paid for that. And on Friday night, it was quite funny doing that speech where a business coach was doing some basically like public talking.
Okay.
Said, we weren't too sure what to give Alex for the celebration of like 7 years. So he whipped out 73 quid out of his pocket and gave it to my dad, which was quite funny. But to be fair, it's generally been, there's £5 in from a job there, put that aside, this, that and that. So it's actually been fully grown without any need for...
That's really good. I love that. I think there's a stigma these days where you have to borrow money.
Yeah.
And I think it's important sometimes, but...
Definitely.
You can do it, build it slower. Because keeping your... Because you've obviously got 100% equity, right?
Yes,
That's crucial.
Definitely. And I think, like, on that note, it's a tough one as well. Like, when your business is... People say, like, the business is the baby. Mm-hmm. You sometimes don't know when to let go and all that kind of stuff. And would you ever... The business, don't get me wrong, if I borrowed, like, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand tomorrow, I'm sure next year would be a unreal year.
Yeah.
But... because it's almost like the ethic of how I've done it so far, I feel like it could also go big time downhill because I wouldn't be used to that investment.
That's the thing. But you look at all the super wealthy guys and girls, all of them borrow money.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I was reading a book recently about how...
What one was it?
I can't actually remember, so that's a great start.
Oh, that's good start.
It was all about money and how debt is actually really, really
Debt's
good.
good. Yeah, good debt's good.
But bad debts are...
bad debt shit.
Which is the important thing.
Yeah, no, I think I wouldn't be scared. I think with you, I wouldn't be scared to borrow money. I'm not saying borrow it, but if you can look
into those avenues, say like with the film, if that ever came to a point.
And if you've got asset, I don't know if asset finance is a good idea based on, I don't know much about finance.
Sure, yeah.
But if you've got assets you can finance against.
Yeah, that's quite a good idea. It almost gives that like safety.
Yeah, because then if you can't, God forbid, pay them back, they've got the asset.
Exactly.
now again, I don't have any clue about asset finance. But
yeah, I don't really
But I don't
know.
think it should be a bad... I think you're going to need to borrow money probably at one point.
Yeah. It
you
takes,
really
I think,
wanna...
when it gets that next point where it becomes second unit and bits like that, which might be
definitely.
planning for, say, next year, we'll see then. If I was to replicate this, I wouldn't be able to put a figure on it, but if I did, I probably would be like, yeah, it's time to borrow some money. And sometimes it's best to kind of like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like I've got loads of money or anything like that, because I certainly don't. But it's often better to probably use the bank's money instead of your own to an extent.
Yeah, it is, ironically.
But it's working out the kind of balance of both of those.
Yeah,
how much that investment might be.
Yeah. I think how long have you had your limited company? What,
so the limited company, to be fair, has only been a year.
Oh,
okay,
okay, yeah.
Oh
wow, okay.
5
yeah,
years.
I'd run it for another year or two. Yeah. Then you've got that history.
I think as well we're gonna have to with like VAT and bits like that. We've got so many different things at the moment. 2 businesses and 3. Just merge them all and just kind of go VAT registered, but it just helps with cash flow and all those kind of things, and having that profit left over that's all in one pot to then do the investments, instead of at the moment where it's like that goes into there, that goes into there, that comes out of that.
Yeah, you don't know
where's it all gone, kind of thing. So the profit might be there on paper.
So you're not
some months, but
you're not doing the books yourself, are you?
So I was for 3 years,
right? Okay.
But at the moment, basically, I did. I won't go into that too much, actually. Accountant stuff, but I found
you had a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah,
don't
to an extent.
I think every business owner's had
that's the thing.
Accounting nightmares. I had. I knew that I had to outsource my books, but oh god, I've made so many fuck ups over the last few years. But like, obviously. Yeah, the first two, I'd say if that's one thing that I'd tell anyone, get a PA,
yes,
like an assistant,
and
then B, sort your books out, get someone to do your bookkeeping.
So like
assistant, I found having an assistant early on was so handy. Like you'd be surprised.
Definitely,
what difference it makes.
Like for example, today I just feel like I just spent hours doing matching like banking things to QuickBooks and like that, and it takes ages, and it's just time that, like we were saying earlier, put your time where you're skilled at. And
trust me, offload that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly, definitely, because I think we're just about to get an accountant, and fingers crossed that all goes well.
Okay, but you need a book accountant. But really be doing your books. They should be doing the planning.
Yeah, exactly. Do the bookkeeping, and also give that like financial advice, because we've never had that as well. So if someone said, "Oh, like, what investment are you going to go for?" This and that, I'd probably be like, "Yeah, not sure on that one." So I think we do need a bit more assistance in that area. But it's also, we've built it to the point where, what's the word? If we had done all these things from day one, we wouldn't be here probably, because all the expenses and bits all add up, as you know. But I think we're at that point now where we've got a bit of kind of small bit of net profit that we can kind of start putting aside for different things, which is quite cool. So it's just moving on that base, I think.
That's cool. That's super interesting.
I'm trying to think what to say now.
Got a question?
Like
where are we at?
How long are we at?
Oh, sweet.
That's pretty impressive.
What problems would you think that I've come across that I could help you with, just because I'm older and I've been doing it a bit more?
It depends. I'd say it'd be interesting to ask you, like, have you ever had any times where, I feel like you're going to say yes anyway before I've even asked, where you've wanted to just put packet in and get just a day job?
No, I never had that.
No?
My mum said to me once, what did she say? I think she went, why don't you just get a proper job?
Yeah.
Like, Mum.
Yeah, it's like,
don't say those words to me.
Exactly.
Because also when she said those words, I was like, hang on a minute, that's like motivation.
Yeah.
Because your motivation can come from other people or it can come from within.
Yes.
I've never been one where people, like, someone said to me, I mean, one of my teachers once said to me, "Oh, like, you're not going to be like I can't remember what he said, but
something and it pushes you, like you said, like if you get that negative comment.
Yeah.
I think they say I read something the other day that was like a business owner, 96% of people, if more than 96% of people say no, he does it. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Brad Sugars, or something like that. But if not enough people say no, then the idea doesn't work for him.
Yeah, I found the motivation sort of come from a couple of naysayers potentially, but mainly for myself. Like I really don't have anything to prove to other people.
Yes.
I find that's important, and also like I'm happy as long as I can wake up every day and do what the hell I want every day. I don't really care.
Exactly. Makes sense. Because I think at the moment we're at that point where, for a few months earlier this year, it was almost a bit. Do we like? Is this what it was? Don't get me wrong.
Hard.
This has always been what I've wanted to do and create this, that, and that. But it gets to that point where you almost not maybe think about it, but you might question like your chatterbox or whatever you want to call it. Questions it. Like, could you do this? And don't get me wrong, I could go and get a job right now.
Easily.
Probably with some experience that actually pays money.
Yeah,
and all that kind of
probably,
stuff.
Yeah.
But this is obviously the vision and stuff of actually having a business, and the power and hopefully the financial return in a few years' time is certainly worth it.
Yeah, I think the financial side of it's important, but again, it's not everything really for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather die than work for someone else without being
That's
blunt.
the thing. And having like that, but like back onto the money thing, kind of like that balance of.
But
sometimes
at the same time, you don't need it because like I learn. I mean, every year I've learned more every year for the last 6 years,
That's
and
good.
then I realised that actually earning more doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
It actually causes more problems. So.
That's the thing. I think sometimes, especially like everyone does that revenue. Like, our revenue's this amount.
No, definitely.
And often profit is obviously profit.
Oh no!
Important.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, like our revenue's gone. Like me personally, because of my other businesses, but Bulldog's like the turnover's done that, but margin's gone like that. Like we don't make a huge amount of money anymore because of just because the staff costs.
Yes,
and then it's intense.
A big overhead, that, isn't it?
But at the same time, I knew that business is long term will work for me.
Yes,
but also I can use it in other ways. So
makes sense.
Like if this right didn't make it turned over 50 grand a month, or then and your costs were 50 grand a month. Yeah. But then you had a personal brand off of it, and then you were launching courses around being a young detailer,
and you do all that kind of stuff.
And then that was doing 100 grand a month.
It would offset it, and this is the thing that's kind of branched out and created.
Because I think that could be a long term thing for you. I think you could build some sort of ecosystem where you bring people in, they come here, you teach them,
train them, and that kind of general, whether or not it's detailing, but general business,
whatever it is,
business knowledge,
business detailing. Because I think this is quite a specific niche. Yeah, and like it is. You're definitely, don't get me wrong. You're in business, but you're more in like. It's quite a personal
kind of
service.
Yeah, it's almost not that classic like business sale invoice. Done.
No. It's not like a product.
It's
a service.
It is such a personal thing. So it's really important that you sometimes don't always use that business head and think, sweet, he's done. Like he's paid the invoice. End of. It's being that you've just got to be that personal service in this industry to be able to do kind of well and progress the business, which is important. But
do you see this industry going just upwards?
I think recently there's been some
negativity.
It just
or
depends on the. I think detailers are starting to come together a bit more. It never used to be like that. So everyone used to be like, don't go down there. But it's never the way to be. I don't think we've ever
done that.
Been negative, which is quite important. So
Definitely.
we've always tried to
calmer.
Be, because I feel like if a customer says, "Oh, I've had a quote from these guys," and if we went, "Yeah, they're crap," the image we give is so unprofessional, and the amount of people that I know that are local and bits like that do that. It's not the way to run it.
No.
If you give I think you're an image of them.
You're in a price sensitive thing.
Yes, definitely.
Do you find that 90% of people go on price only?
Yeah, I think a lot of people go on price. There is cheaper, but there's also with detailing there's more expensive. Like some people are double, some people are half. I think we're in a pretty solid. It's probably especially on the detailing, more the down end, which is good because. For us, that we can still make a margin. We've basically invested in systems so that we can be able to make that margin. But doubling the cost would obviously be nice. But it's often we wouldn't get the market that we're in. So we kind of tend to go for 0 to 100k price cars, and then we still do cars that are worth more than that. We've done £1 million cars, but it gives that special kind of vibe when that kind of car comes in, which is quite cool. And every car gets treated the same.
So
that's the thing.
Do you charge them more if it's a more expensive car?
Don't tend to.
Okay.
But
some
often a lot of people would. And to be fair, it's a good argument. Say if there was an
issue.
Like I said, we would deal with any car, but let's just put best selling car probably in the UK, a Fiesta, against say a LaFerrari. If you dropped a polisher on the paint on both, the Fiesta is probably going to cost a few £100 to replace, and the LaFerrari is going to be 10,000-20,000. So do you incorporate that into the cost? Will the customer understand? It's
a good question.
It is a really good question.
But also a person that at the higher end above 100k,
yes,
they're not even remotely price sensitive.
That's the thing. It gets to,
because 0 to 100k, you're going to get the price slightly price sensitive people. And then
to be fair, sometimes it can be the other way around. It's really interesting, especially because we don't think we're overpriced in some areas, and you almost think, are we really? Do you really want us to do that for that as well? But
do you regularly benchmark against competition, or does that just happen?
I think it just happens, to be fair, sometimes. But a lot of people, the good thing is that some people search and then they say find 3 people and then they choose those. But recently we found that a lot of people just come direct and I've seen you on Instagram, we want to choose you. Yeah. And then you give them the price, happy with the price straight away. So they've almost going back to that kind of trust. They've made that decision with themselves. They're expecting this. They've been on the website and got a rough guide. And then when the price comes in, it's bang on what it says on the site, that kind of thing. I think that's quite an important thing. But I suppose with your stuff, it's a lot different, where there's probably not one project that's the same as the other.
No, I think with us, it's all, price was always a thing, but then as you get more mature and more of a reputation, and also being cheap's not good in our industry.
Definitely.
I think with you as well, it's
everyone can do something for 50
quid, exactly. And you don't want anyone to cut corners on your business or your car.
Exactly.
So but I've found, looking at just the business landscape like this, you have to be either really cheap or expensive.
That's the thing. It's really hard
mid-range,
to just be in the middle.
Yeah, like if you pitched yourself as we are the premier southeast business that does detailing and does everything else,
and then you go in with that,
then that's it. Yeah, and then everyone knows here. Everyone knows, and then
this is the benchmark for that high kind of end price market, which is often it's a very good point, that, and I've never really thought of that. We're probably, I'd say, like here on the spectrum, so just above the middle. But
I think personally that's dangerous. Yeah, only because people then don't know what you are. They're
exactly.
It's
they've got the trust, but then they're not 100% sure about the price.
Yeah, look at like all the high street people that have gone in, like Jamie's Italian, mid-range. What are the others from the high street? Are like BHS, mid-range.
I suppose a lot of them have gone there. It's really.
But like who are thriving? Primark. Yeah. And then also like all the higher end luxury
stuff is
so all the cheap fast fashion stuff. You know, all the pretty little things and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it.
They're killing it. Higher end good, and the mid range of everything. I've seen that everything in the mid is struggling.
It's really interesting that. Yeah, I've never really thought of that.
And then that comes down to positioning your whole business. If we're going to be premium or we're going to be cheap.
And it's working out that kind of.
And then and committing to it as well.
Yes, definitely. I think the commitments, because we still do like
flexible.
Yeah, nowadays even if a customer doesn't ask and they say like, can I pop down this afternoon just to get this done? And we're like, just call it a tenner. And then sometimes I think about it, I'm like, first of all, we've just lost money on that because we spent like an hour or something on it.
Definitely, 100%.
And the second thing is, for them, it's almost like, they've got a few hours off work, they're coming down to us, they've got the trust, they see our vision, they're happy with probably paying 50 quid for this thing. Yeah. But we want to try and do them a favour by doing it for 10 quid. And it's not the best way to run it.
No. Well, saying no is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Or just being honest with them and saying, look, this is going to take us an hour. It's 50 quid.
Exactly. And then when they say 30, you can say, well, I can do 75% of it, but I'm going to have to leave that carpet for you. I can't clean the wheels, so I'll do
Yeah, that's the thing. They want a cheaper rate at the same service. And we've found that, there's some price things you can move around, but you can't have a $3,000 service for $2,000 because you've got to cut corners.
Sometimes, like for example, you might be able to do a deal and
there is margin there somewhere, but still
when you just cut it big time and you're like, this, that, and that. And we've definitely done it before. And then and even they sometimes don't choose you. You're like, fuck, did I do that for? Which can be irritating. But
also, have you ever asked people the people that don't go with you, which obviously there is people.
Yes.
Do you ask them more questions?
No, and I think that's one of the most important things. Once they've said no, we always tend to reply and say, thanks for getting a quote, this, that, and that. I hope you enjoy the details. Not as in a sarcastic way at all.
I hope you have a good experience
with this, that, and that. I've heard they're great, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it'd be good to then finish that off with, do you mind us asking? And then if they say the price, and we get, let's say we did 100 emails, 100 didn't reply. Sorry, 100 replied and they all said price. We're probably doing something wrong there.
Yeah, I think you'll find out a lot about the people that don't use you as much as the people who do use you. And then when someone does use them, you send them a survey and say what could we have done better.
Exactly. And kind of building it from building it from that. Like you said, negative feedback is often not that we tend to get it.
No, you'll get some at some point.
I think it's being truthful and saying that 95% is positive.
It's pretty good.
You get 5% that's negative, and you build on that, and you work with the client as long as the client's happy to work with you on that. I'm just going to try and think of a crazy example, but let's say you completely miss someone's wheels. This has
that
never
would be
happened,
interesting.
And then they pick it up and they're like, mate, the wheels are dirty. Then that's negative feedback, but it's also go and clean the wheels up quick and then chuck something else in.
Yeah, how you deal with it.
And how you deal with it. And often we've done a few things that, let's say we've done let's just say 1,000 cars, and 3 of them had this, that, and that. Basically using, what's the word? The negatives from those, and basically just being able to kind of say, look, we didn't mean to do that, but this is how we're going to rectify it, and anything else.
That's how you deal with them. I think also getting have you got Trustpilot or anything like a review system?
So at the moment we just do Facebook and Google.
Okay.
But a lot of people recommend Trustpilot. So
yeah, I think Trustpilot would be good, especially the people that are just a little bit. They might not even contact you.
Yes.
Like if I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, has he got Trust? Oh no.
Yeah, and then
it's like, it's just that one little tick.
It's building that extra thing as well. So they're good on Facebook, Google. Oh, they've got that as well. They've got a YouTube channel.
People trust Trustpilot weirdly. It's a good platform, but people have got this weird perception of it.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't.
It's like 100
It's like
quid a month.
TripAdvisor, isn't it?
It's like sort of. It's like just a place for reviews basically, but it's like £100 a month, I think.
Makes sense.
And then you've probably got people you could just reach out to, say, hey, leave a review.
Exactly.
Get the photos on there.
Yeah.
Because Instagram and stuff, it's good, but I still think that Trustpilot a bit more trust.
And that's the thing with social media. We once had this point where we were posting and we were getting so many inquiries from Instagram.
Really?
Just
tire kickers.
Yeah, just that kind of thing.
Pun.
But now we use Instagram more not as a platform to get I'll post this and I'll get this client. We use it more of say you were thinking then about, has he got any reviews? You could be like, let's just check on Instagram. Oh yeah, he's done a lot of cars. He seems positive. He posts every day. Trust. And you've got that kind of really good background from there. Good followers and bits like that. And that's one of the things, followers takes ages to get.
Yeah, but that organic reach is going to go down, mate.
Exactly.
You've got to chuck some paid at it.
100%. 100%. So that's the... but yeah, it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on different... From a marketing point of view.
No, I think you're definitely doing a good job, but definitely chuck a load of money at Facebook.
Yeah, that's the thing. And doing it like you said, using the right people. It might cost a bit more.
Definitely.
I remember doing an advert. We just did one for that Porsche video from Bulldog Media, and I think I chucked 75 quid at it. And I was like, target that person, this, that, and
demographic,
that, and just kind of give it a go. And it was a good, it got views, but it didn't create any leads, if that makes sense. But
but that's not necessarily the KPI.
Sometimes what we've kind of found is that by having that video and the views and people have
seen also
it, you do get them over time. But
with Michael, I would never. It takes to make a decision, whatever you want to do on it. It's not going to be quick.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I don't buy from. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a luxury place, but at one point I'll think, and I do think of that with you because I've seen your stuff. So
definitely.
it's that brand, you know, the brand
exactly.
recognition and building that.
Yeah,
but those dollars or those pounds that have gone to Facebook ads, they're not lost.
No, they
That's
are.
the thing.
That's the thing. And
one person that knows about you is more than like, it's always one more.
Leads and bits like that. Because I think just being in front of the customer and doing it in a different way, so being there in social media, but people see that every day and get used to it.
Yeah.
Being there in
are you doing any retargeting? Or?
We don't tend to at the moment, so it'd be something to
definitely
kind of look into. We're trying to do a bit more events and stuff, so that's more face to face. That went really well on Friday.
Yeah, no, so it was good.
Good turnout and bits like that, and it was just being a general. Loads of clients coming down and people then messaging from Instagram and saying this event looks cool, can I pop down? No worries. And meeting new people and bits like that. It would have been good to catch up with a few more faces that emailed this morning. They were like, it looks like you were really busy, I popped down for an hour, we didn't get to chat, but I was like,
oh no.
And
it's always the case,
but it's always the case when you're hosting those kind of things. But I think we're going to host more car events. And
what about like car meetups and stuff?
I think meets a good idea, but doing them with a bit of a twist. And I think there's a local pizza van that we can use, so people can buy
local pizza van. That's cool.
Pizzas and stuff in the morning. Come here, have a little look round. We're not trying to sell them anything. I think that's the thing. We're just trying to be in people's faces so that it's like, it's AWC. It's nice and short to remember. And doing those kind of things, but. Yeah, apart from that, marketing-wise, we obviously do a few other little bits, but we definitely need a 2020 plan for marketing. Yeah,
no, I agree.
Which is important.
Cool. So, how are you going to round this podcast off? Are you doing more of these podcasts?
Yeah, I think we should do. I think I should do more. We were saying about as a general kind of marketing point of view.
Yeah.
The podcasts they're just general information. I have no idea how this went, but it probably went all right.
I don't know, we'll see.
But for viewers, if it tries to inspire a young person and bits like that, that could then develop into a business, or it could also just see clients could see it as a kind of bonus point of view that they put a lot of time in overtime, if that makes sense, to do
different stuff,
to put different stuff in, and we're not selling a video, we're not doing anything else, we're just chatting. So I think that's the important thing, and I think it's gone pretty good. So
I've enjoyed it.
Appreciate it for coming down.
No, it's been good fun. That's it. Are we done?
Done.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Let's go. Always awkward for
I know.